Greetings everyone, it's Thomas Mooneygill, and this video is a sequel to Ask a Shamanic Practitioner, where I asked you guys to submit some questions for me that you were curious about, either what I do or what it means to be a shaman, or work with shamanic practices. And it took a while, but I looked over just the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got a lot of questions. So if I don't get to yours this time, sorry, I may do another Q&A video again at some point. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off. And I've got a few questions from Del Rath, and some of them are sort of related and may answer a lot of other people's questions. So I'm going to do a few of them. And one of the things they asked me was what it meant for me to be a shamanic practitioner. What does it mean to me? And what it means to me, basically, is that I'm going to be working in tandem with Spirit to help rebalance, bring healing, bring clarity between a person and the spiritual realms. And now that could take the form of a physical healing that may happen because of that clarity and that rebalancing of the spiritual, or it could give them direction in their life. It could get them out of a cycle of behavior. So basically I'm in there to help support people and also to be of service to spirit. So sometimes when I work healing, I'm not just working on people. Sometimes I'm working on land, or sometimes I'm working on a body of water. So it could vary. When you're a shamanic practitioner, human beings are a part of the whole web of life. They are not the peak of the web. They're more in a circle with everybody else. And yes, we're wonderful and we're special and we have our things, but so does every other creature. So, and planet, and stone, and place. So, for me, it's about shamanic practice is all about building, maintaining better relationships between ourselves, each other, the world as in nature, the spirit world, and our own personal guides. So that's what that means to me. Pardon me, sorry. Now they also asked, what kind of spirits do I work with? Well, I work with power animal spirits, which are they're not just animal spirits, they're a particular type of animal spirits that it's a great privilege to be a power animal. So a lot of times it will be someone who has been both an animal and also, generally, not always, sometimes they will also have lived a life as a human being. So I work with power animals. I also work with teachers, upper world teachers, which is sort of someone who has been in this plane at some point in time, usually, not always, but has now stepped out of the cycle of incarnation. Sometimes these can also include deity forms or God forms. They could be angels, prophets, aliens. They could be star people. So it's the door is wide open for that. So there's that. There's also spirits of stones that I work with when I use my mesa. The healing spirits, or spirits of place, like working with a tree spirit or a body of water, or the ocean is very powerful, or a mountain will sometimes come through when I'm doing healing work for somebody. So I work with a wide variety of spirits, fairy as well. So there's just so many different types, and different practitioners will have a different coterie, I guess, or a different sort of plethora of different kind of guides that they work with. But most shamanic practitioners will have a power animal, and many of them will also have an upper world teacher. So now Delrath also asked if I had ever passed something called shamanic sickness, or if I could talk a little bit about that. And I don't know if you meant like a shamanic initiation, because I've had plenty of those. But before I really got started in general on my path, I was very ill, and almost really deathly ill. And when I came out of that, I was a different person. I had some very stark epiphanies and realizations about who was around me, why I was there, and just that seeing a little bit more of my own worth. And that sort of pushed me out and started me on the path. And then there were several years later when I really started practicing shamanic techniques and studying more. So I hope that helps. A lot of people who do any sort of spirit work will have some sort of initiation like that, some sort of illness or life event that pushes them forward or makes them completely question where they are and what they're doing. And for me, it was illness. It doesn't always have to be that. Sometimes it can even be a good thing that pushes you forward. And let's all keep our fingers crossed that we learn to be pushed forward by the good so that we don't always have to suffer as much to learn. Not that it's bad, it can have some good outcomes as well. So my next question is from Madeline Moon, 13. And she asked about, that I have a lot of different practices that I do and different areas that I am familiar with and work in metaphysics. And as someone who's getting started, what would be helpful? Or what do I think would be helpful? Now, this is a tricky question to answer because the answer is going to differ based on you and what you're interested in. So the first thing is to try a bunch of different things to see what you resonate with. But definitely working on calming the mind is one, getting your emotions sort of balanced, and becoming a little bit self-aware, whether that means using meditation, journaling or writing, and anything that can bring more awareness of yourself and your own motivations where your ego is involved. But certainly some sort of breathing practice, so deep breaths. I would also recommend some sort of body work, whether it be yoga or tai chi or any other, maybe dance, ecstatic dance. Anything that involves the body as well is really important, because you need to involve the body, because as you're working with different levels of energy and as you bring in higher energy, the body needs to be prepared for it, otherwise you're going to short it out. Which, when I've gone into a whole nother realm of energy, I have to do extra work on my body to prepare it to hold that. So I hope that answers your question. I think I've got time for one more question. And this one is from Astavakra 51, and they asked if I thought that the soul essence could ever be destroyed or be beyond repair. And I think they quoted Blavatsky and some other, and I think the Bhagavad Gita. Now, I'm coming from a shamanic perspective where, the soul is the soul, and you can lose pieces of it. Those pieces aren't destroyed, they're just lost. No matter, and particularly the perspective that I'm coming from, when someone is doing really hurtful or really what you call evil things, it generally means that they are very damaged and are missing a large piece of themselves. So, you always say that hurt people is probably something that you may have heard, and that holds very true for shamanism. So a lot of times with that, what we'd say is, okay, we need to extract any traumatic energy from them or anything that doesn't belong there, and then bring back what is theirs, bring back themselves to themselves and integrate and heal that. So I would say that I think that, yes, the soul can be repaired no matter what. Now, it's not always repaired in this lifetime. Maybe might be repaired in a different lifetime. Maybe that is a path that someone's going to be on their next lifetime. So, but there is no time and no space for the soul. So eventually it's all going to come back together and it's all going to be whole. We're all going, in my mind, we're all going to the same place. We're just taking different paths to get there. Some of us are taking a shortcut. Some of us are going a windy, meandering. Some of us are getting lost on the way and having layovers and having to stop. But I feel like eventually we're all going to get where we're going. We're just taking vastly different routes. And when we get there, we're all going to compare notes and, I don't know, maybe drink espresso or tea and play dominoes or mahjong or poker. I don't know. But when I get there and you get there, we can find out. So until next time, peace and blessings. Oh, yes, by the way, please, if you haven't, subscribe, like and rate this video. Leave comments in the section below. If there's something that you're just dying to know, let me know, and we'll cover it in another video. Also, this month, I just released my first book, Drumming Down the Runes, Walking the 24 Roads, and that is available on both Amazon Kindle and on the Nook by Barnes & Noble. And probably in a month or so, the print version will be out for purchase as print on demand on Amazon. So be sure to check that out. The links will be down below. So again, thank you for watching. Peace and blessings.